Good afternoon and welcome to the latest segment of Voices from Our Schools. I'm Kimberly Stender. I'll be your guest host today, and with me I have two fascinating individuals who do many great things at our high school. So I want to introduce them to you now. With me I have Lisa Candido, who's the director of our PRISM 21st Century After School program. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Hello.
You're welcome. And Chris Taggart, who works for the Collaborative of Educational Services in Northampton, and you are the after-school program director
Yes.
for this entire region, for Western Massachusetts.
For about 9 locations that we manage, yes.
Okay. And both of you are very much involved with our PRISM program, the high school, which started last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa, can you tell me a little bit about PRISM, maybe what that acronym stands for?
Sure. People often think prison,
Yeah.
but I'm very careful when I say it that it's PRISM, and it stands for Programs Involving Students' Minds. And that name came from the students last year. Just around this time, everyone kept saying, we can't keep calling it 21st Century After School. We can't keep calling it. We need to give it a name. So the students came up with different thoughts and different ideas, and we actually voted. And that was what they decided on.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that student input too. It makes
Yes.
them feel very empowered, I would imagine.
It was student created, and they decided what they wanted it to be.
Great.
So that's how the name came about.
I like that. And can you explain the history of this program and how it came to be and how it found its way to the high school?
Well, about 2 years back, an opportunity came out to get funding for a high school aged after school program, which was innovative, something that's not done often. And it's 21st Century Community Learning Center funding. It's federal funding, but it's managed by the state. And so I made a few phone calls, and I centered in on Amherst Regional High School as a candidate. And I had a series of interviews, starting with the principal, Mark Jackson, and some district administrators. And essentially, this funding enables the high school to serve more students in after-school time in hands-on projects, and also to get more academic support. So this began 2 years ago. We have another 2.5 years left in the funding cycle. And along with a school year component, which runs for most of the school year, we also have a summer program as well.
Wow. So you're encompassing a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Right, you make great strides. The history of the program, is this unique to this area, or does this go on in different parts of the country as well?
21st Century funding is across most of the states in the nation, but each state can do it somewhat differently. Massachusetts has a really rigorous program, and we are one of the few states that actually collects data with a research-based method through the SAO survey. It's a survey of after-school youth outcomes. And so we measure academic growth and some social-emotional growth as well, and we report back to the state how we did in these outcomes. And so classroom teachers will complete these surveys for us, as well as after-school staff. And so not every state in the nation does that. We also have a high expectation around attendance. We don't serve every student in the school in after-school time. We serve a core group, and we want them to come for as much of the school year as possible, so that we have as much impact on their learning as possible. So that's something that Massachusetts stands out for with 21st Century funding.
That's great. And how many students do you get per trimester in PRISM?
It depends on the time of year. That makes a big impact. Right now, currently, we're in our 3rd session. We have 4 more weeks to go, and we have 52 students that are enrolled. Wow. It varies on the day. Some days have more students than others. We tend to have more students earlier in the week, especially attending for the academic support piece. There's more students who come for that. But we also have some programs that run off campus that we don't necessarily see the students at 2:30, but we do have some programs that run at Hampshire College here at Amherst Media, and those take place from 3:30 until 5:30. So those take place, so I don't see those students every day coming, but they do go directly to their programs.
And how do our high school students find out about PRISM? What's the mechanism behind this? That's great.
That's a good question, Kim. That's been the hardest part, is probably the publicity for it. The biggest group that supports this in the school is the guidance office. So if they have any student, new students that come in, if they have any students that are struggling academically, they send them to us, or if they have students that are just trying to find a group to be part of, or they might be interested in dance or cooking or any of the various programs we offer, they send the students our way. I put things on the morning announcements. I put blurbs on the PGO website. I go to parent nights, ELL nights. Myself and my staff go in the cafeteria in September and try to recruit students during lunch. So a lot of it's word of mouth. It is spreading, and that's a good thing. And some of the teachers who work at the high school who are part of the program also help with the recruitment of the students. And sometimes it's strictly just word of mouth. The ELL department really helps, as well as the staff and the AAC at the high school. They also are always trying to encourage students to join the program.
So once students hear about this program, how do they sign up, or how do they, come to find you?
Right, that's also another piece, because I'm not there full time, so that's sometimes challenging. They can find me, and I'm in room 201B, which is off the photo lab. They can find me there. There's also registration information in the guidance office, and all of the guidance counselors know about it, as well as the secretaries. And PRISM also has a page on the ARP's website, and they can now find me if they Google, or they put in PRISM on the website, they can find our own site, and there's registration information there.
Okay, so that's very helpful to parents and guardians.
Yes.
Okay, and is there a cost involved at all, or does this grant cover everything?
The school year program, September through June, is absolutely free.
Wow.
Absolutely free, so the students can come, they get snack every day, they get academic support, and then great enrichment programs at no cost.
That's an incredible opportunity.
It is. It is.
And the more kids you can get into that net, the better. Wow, all righty. So what happens during a typical day in PRISM? How is it structured? What programs do you offer on a daily basis? Are there special things that come into play throughout the year?
Sometimes the enrichment programs change throughout the year. A typical day, students come to rooms 133, 135 at 2:30. They sign in for attendance, they sign in for transportation. I transport students home for free at the end of the program at 4:30. They get snack, and there's staff that helps with homework, schoolwork, anything that they need. We have volunteers from the various colleges and the community, as well as staff that I've hired from paraprofessionals in the building who come and work with the students, and that's from 2:30 to 3:15, sometimes 3:30, depending upon the needs of the kids. Then from 3:30 until 4:30, we offer enrichment programs. Those vary day to day. I'm trying to think what's happening today. Today there is a cooking program going on, scrapbooking goes on, Get Up, Get Down meets, Video Vanguard meets, and some of those, again, are on campus, some of those are off of the campus. There's anything from dance and drumming to Zumba to photography to yoga to a music program. The music lab program is phenomenal with this fabulous instructor that we have, and the kids are writing their own music, composing, recording, and now they want to make videos to go along with their own. And there's actually a link to that on the high school webpage if anyone's interested to find out more about music lab. So just depends on the day. A lot of things go on a daily basis, always changing. We have a mentoring program that we do with the Crocker Care After School program down at Crocker Farms, where high school students go down on every Tuesday, and they work with the elementary school students for an hour and a half. And they do that, and they've done that since last year.
Wow, it is amazing. And for someone like me working in the district, I'm fairly unaware of actually how many programs you offer and the extent and the diversity of those programs for for any kid to walk in and say, I could take yoga on this day and maybe try cooking the next, or do some mentorship with elementary school students. That's just an amazing opportunity for students. And thank you for pulling this all together and making this happen.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. What's the student-teacher ratio? For these classes, do you get a huge turnout? It
depends on the program. There are some that have been more successful than others. The cooking program is now so successful, we're running it 2 times a week. And I try to keep it a 1-to-10 ratio. I have had where I have more students than that, and then I try to bring in volunteers who also want to help support and be part of the staff and can help out so the numbers don't get too large. We like it to stay intimate, so there's still that time to connect, because part of these programs is, yeah, we get to cook these really great things, but also the cooking program has taken students to restaurants. They've gone to local CSAs in the area to find out about food, where it comes from. They've learned about the restaurant industry. So a big piece about the enrichments is, yeah, we offer these really great things, but how can we connect this to life outside of Amherst High School? And how can we make a connection on a fitness program, and maybe someone wants to go into a career in fitness? So we took all of the students over to the beautiful new facility at UMass, and they can see it's gorgeous, and I would love to go there. Unfortunately, I can't get in. but you know, it's saying that there's other things that these programs do. You know, we have a dance program that went on, and we brought in a master dance teacher to talk about her life, what she did as a dancer, and where they can go with it. So we try to make these constant connections to this great enrichment, but where can this bring you outside of the walls of Amherst High School?
Wow.
And interestingly, you had a dance class that started off with an adult teacher, and eventually you had a student take over. I mean, that's worth describing.
Yeah, we ended up having a student take over the dance program, and he did that for 2 sessions. So it was a senior at the high school, did a program called Dance Pathways, and he was teaching his own peers.
It seems like the sky's the limit.
It is, and there's a lot of opportunity to bring different programs to the students, and PRISM is just a great forum to have, to use as that springboard.
So are you very receptive to these new ideas that come in for, you know, opportunities, courses, classes that kids can take?
I'm open to a lot of things. You know, going back to one thing Chris said is we have to think about attendance, and that's a big part for the funding. So, you know, as nice as it would to bring in any program, I can't bring in something unless it's going to bring a lot of students. So that's something that, you know, I have had a few programs that haven't been as successful, but then we just kind of tweak them or change them, or someone comes up with a different design, and then we look to enroll more students. So that's a big piece for the funding that we have to always think about.
And that's half the battle, is attendance. The other half is addressing our program's outcomes. We have some math outcomes that we like to address through programming, and that's not just in Homework Center, that's also in the enrichment activities. And so if we have an idea come our way and it's not addressing the outcomes, we might have to pass on it. But we're amendable to most ideas. We are a community learning center, so we've got these frameworks, these benchmarks that we have to address: workforce readiness, college readiness, academic skill building, and the such. So there's a lot of areas a project can fall under, so we keep that in mind as well.
So it's very comprehensive.
There's more to it
Flexible.
than just homework and yoga.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Definitely.
too, like the interactive, the socialness of this group
Yes.
really kind of keeps kids involved in the school, maybe prevents them from leaving and wandering off and getting into things they maybe should not do, so it's very constructive.
I think the nice part about it that I really like, and I say all the time to Chris, is like this, you know, we become like this family. And, you know, there's so many after-school offerings at the high school
So many.
that there's a lot to compete with, but I feel that the 50-plus students that are coming on a weekly basis have found a comfort zone and have found a place where they can come and not only get help with homework and do these really fabulous enrichment programs, but enjoy other students that they might not necessarily be in contact with throughout the school day. And that's a really important part to me, that there's this comfort around the students that come and that they keep on coming back.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see, and research backs it up. It's the gel that bonds a program together and helps it be successful, is the relationships between adults and youth. There was a study, not to get too boring, called the MAR study, Massachusetts After School Research Study, and one of the most important components is positive relationships between adults and youth. And it's something that's very visible if one were to visit PRISM on any given day. And sometimes I'll go and I'll sit down and check it out. And Lisa can't move 5 feet without another update from a student about a report card or about what they experienced that day. And it's also true for her other staff that are on board. There's a lot of communication, a lot of talking between staff and students.
And that's essential to the success of any program. You know, to work collaboratively and to always have a focus and work towards that goal. Wow. So what does your academic support look like? I mean, we talked about enrichment.
Right.
How does it work with when the kids come in, and, you know, are there tutors available or mentors available that help with specific subjects, or do you cover like one subject?
We have different tutors who do different things, and the needs change every day. So they're not coming necessarily, there's not a math group here and a history group here. The needs change every day for what the kids have, and some kids are coming in 45 minutes working on 2 or 3 different subjects. So we need people who can do a lot of different things. We're always looking for volunteers. I've had some fabulous UMass volunteers this year, for some fabulous Amherst College, but I'm always looking for people who want to come and really to stay throughout the entire school year is helpful. You know, I know it's hard with the college students. We lost everybody last week with finals and then graduation at the end of this week, so that's a real challenge. But anybody who wants to come in and just be there for the kids. And sometimes the other thing that happens during academic time is some of the kids just need to have some wind down time, and they just need to even just have somebody to talk to a little bit about their day, and that's also part of what goes on during the academic support. But there isn't specific tables or specific groups that go on based on subject, but there's always students in need of some help.
I'll be sure to send some volunteers your way.
Yes, I would love some more. Absolutely.
Got it. That's a deal. We talked about enrichment. We talked about academic support. Do you envision anything else coming from these two entities within PRISM? Do you see another portion emerging from PRISM maybe next year?
You know, we're always thinking of what to do to attract more students. One program we started just around this time last year and have continued through this year is called Uncluttered History, where I hire a certified teacher to work with CP World Civ and CP US History students to
CP is the college prep.
College prep,
okay,
yes,
just
yes.
so everyone knows.
Yes, yes, because there's a difference. There's a bit, which I learned, there's a difference. And to work with those students in two typically very hard social studies classes where the students struggle. So they come and get an hour worth of support 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, and then they attend PRISM enrichment programs from 3:30 to 4:30. Every 5 times they come, they receive 1 extra credit point towards their final trimester grade. During the school year, we don't offer credit recovery, or they don't get academic credits for coming. So this was an incentive to get more students to come, support some programs where some classes where they're really struggling, and then help them get some extra credit points towards that final trimester grade. So that's come out of it. We've done some college readiness programs with Amherst College, and we've done some college readiness programs with the guidance department. So we're always trying to look for something more to offer the students other than just the academics and the enrichment.
And could you tell me a little bit about the college readiness programs and how they work and how they benefit our students?
Yeah, we did a program last spring and we did it this fall called Many Paths, and that worked with students from Amherst College as well as one of the assistant deans of admissions at Amherst College. And they came over to the school for a 4-part series talking about college readiness. They looked at the application process, they looked at college essay writing, they looked at how to pick a college and what was the right school for you. And they did 4 different meetings with the students, 1 hour. Meetings isn't the word I'm looking for. Seminars, thank you, that's what I'm looking for. 4 different 1-hour seminars with the students, preparing them for these things, mostly seniors and juniors, to get ready for the college process. They also had an essay writing day where students from Amherst College came and were looking at the essays that seniors were writing in the fall to get ready for submission.
If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Youth Action Coalition, one of our partners, helped us launch this project?
Yes, they brought the Many Paths program to PRISM.
Wow. And do they do, is it Get Up, Get Down? Or?
Yes. So we partner with Youth Action Coalition.
Yeah,
and
they're amazing.
Get Up, Get Down, Girls Eye View, and Video Vanguard are all offered through PRISM, and we have that partnership with Youth Action Coalition.
Wow.
And they were involved initially, and still, with the writing of the grant and the planning team, and they sat on the advisory council that helped map this out. And they were in the grant proposal. Some of their offerings were highlighted, and they're still with us doing a very nice job. So, and that's another example of being a community learning center, reaching out to other agencies or other youth-serving programs in town. If it makes sense, if it can work, we'll work together.
Yeah, we have a great relationship with them.
Yes, and the collaborative itself does so much.
Yeah, so again, I'm with the Collaborative for Educational Services, and we have 9 programs across Western Massachusetts, all funded by 21st Century, one of which is the Amherst Regional High School program, PRISM. Our goal is to do exactly what you're hearing now, to hear all these colorful details and all these amazing projects under one big project that are addressing the needs of students, and to facilitate that process with school personnel and our own after-school staff, to the point where Lisa's simply making my job easy now.
I'm glad to hear that, Chris. I don't call you every day anymore.
But there was a time when I'm sure you had to.
Absolutely, most of last year.
Yeah.
Yes, most of last year.
Chris is your lifeline.
He sure was.
And I can imagine the planning that that was involved in this grant and seeking out Amherst Regional High School as a site for or the 21st century after school.
Yeah, I mean, there were surveys done with the students to see what they would want from a program. Surveys went home to families, all with the school's help, of course, to see if they wanted a program of this nature. Because if those surveys came back and no one was interested, either youth or families, then we don't have a project. So that was done, as many other layers too. And then, again, I said we're in a 4-year grant cycle. We're almost halfway through. And so when we're at the end, we'll have to consider how to make our case for more funding, which will be another project.
Yes. And you have the summer program coming up.
Yes.
Now, is that different than what you do during the school year, or is that going to take on its own
It's different
characteristic?
during the school year. We don't run it as academic support and enrichment. We run in conjunction with the summer school that is run at Amherst High School, and the dates are the same, the times are the same, and what PRISM brings to it is enrichment classes, but they take on the form of a 2-hour class, a 3-hour class, a 4-hour class, and the students receive elective credit for this. So it's a little bit different than the school year program because it's as if the high school, during the summer school, they charge for students to come to it. So that is one thing that we do because the students are receiving elective credit.
Okay.
So some things we are hoping to offer this year is, for this summer, is Bicycles 101. Where students will, and we're currently running that program now, students will learn more about bikes. We have 25 bikes from the collaborative at the high school that the students are in the process of fixing and riding, visiting local bike shops. They spent some time down at Hampshire College at the bike fabrication lab and learning about the world of bikes. So we have that. We're going to have an outdoor ed class for hiking and geo-tracking, I believe it's called.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yes, so hiking and geo-tracking. They're also going to be doing some, they're reblazing part of the M&M Trail, and they hope to be part of that, as well as doing some outdoor kayaking and things. So it's a very different feel than the summertime. The students, again, come for 2 or 3 hours, but I also provide lunch for the students. Sometimes we do breakfast, depending upon the day. So but it does go, and they do get credit for it.
And when does summer school start? When are those dates?
July 9th to August 2nd.
Okay. And
Yes.
is registration going on now for summer school?
We are still working on the program of studies, so all of these offerings will be included in the high school program of studies, which will hopefully be finished and up online within the next couple of weeks.
That'd be great, because I know many parents and guardians are anxious to kind of get their kids involved in this.
And we're also hoping at targeting some of the incoming 9th graders as well. They can't receive the elective credit for it, but it also gets them just coming to the program and getting used to being with this group of kids. I had quite a few students that came last year who were incoming freshmen who've stayed with the program all year long.
That's nice, and I bet you'll find more of that.
Yes.
In the coming year, you'll find that retention rate is going to increase.
Yeah, that's the idea, and to get them exposed to it in the summertime, and then they are looking for the program come September. As well as encouraging some of the high school students who are already here to come and do these great offerings that they can earn an elective credit for.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. That's incentive enough.
It's hard to get them to come in the summer, so there's a reason to do something different.
And so just to reiterate, all this information can be found on www.arps.org on the high school website.
Yes.
And then if you go onto that page, you could just search PRISM, and everything will appear.
Yes.
Including registration,
Yes.
dates, program offerings, anything you need.
All of the current program offerings are there now. We don't have the program of studies up yet, but again, that should be within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And you can find that. That'll be on the high school homepage, and it'll be a link as well for PRISM.
Okay, that's phenomenal. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
And we have like 1 more minute left, Chris. So I'm just curious to know, do you envision this funding remaining and this wonderful program remaining at Amherst Regional High School?
It is our intent to keep it here, and as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a high quality project, and we have to make our case on 3 levels. So come year 4, although we'll have been doing the work all along, we need the basic data around students attending to be good. We need that survey data I mentioned earlier to be strong and to show that we've been evolving through the 4 years. The second level is we need good school and district investment in the program. which again, having our summer offerings listed side by side with district offerings in the same pamphlet is a sign of that, and other things. And the third thing is, we need to have partnerships in place, more partnerships, whether I find another large grant or we partner with this wonderful studio, all sorts of different venues like that make it more of a community center, so that when it comes time to ask to fund us again, that we can say we are one of the best in the state.
Yeah,
And that's
we'll
what we
work
shoot
with
for.
you, that's for sure, and I'll keep my, eyes peeled for opportunities and venues that, could house a program like this, or at least get, involved in it, and offer these, these great programs to our students.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it's great. I might sign my kids up.
There you go. Sounds good. And maybe more volunteers.
And more volunteers, absolutely. Whatever you need, I'll get for you.
That's great.
Is there anything else in closing that you wanted to just throw out to our audience and make them aware of, other things that we might not have talked about, or just reiterate some things?
Yeah, I think that one thing that's really important is that families and community members and students realize that it's open to the entire school population. This program is for all of Amherst High School students, and that during the school year, again, it's free. A great opportunity to do something you might not be able to afford on your own, and this is a great way to do it and to meet other people.
And I'll throw one thing in. If there are any parents or guardians who want to give us feedback, or positive feedback as well, Lisa and I are available always.
Okay, and are you on the website? Are your names linked to PRISM, or?
I am, yes.
Okay, so it's Candido L at
Yes.
arps.org.
Yes.
Okay, and you could CC Chris on that too. Well, I thank you both for joining me today on Voices from Our Schools. It's been a pleasure having you both here, and for letting our audience know about the PRISM program. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And for all of you, thank you for joining us, and I hope you tune in again for the next segment of Voices from Our Schools. I'm Kimberly Stender, and have a wonderful day.